Written by Murphy here. I'm doing a book review. The book I finished reading is Why Time Flies, a mostly scientific investigation by Alan Burdick. This book came at me because it was mentioned in another book called When. I forget who wrote that one. But he mentioned several books, and so I put it on my list of things to read. I had to check this book out of the library 3 times to get it done. That's a long time for me. Wow. It is, it's a really beautiful book. And when he says it's mostly scientific, it is extremely scientific. It's extremely scientific. It's like experiments and comparisons and talking about time in ways that I really hadn't thought about. Time is, at one point he says, time is only in experiencing it. So time does not exist outside the experience of time. Wow. So there's just like so many mind-blowing things, and they're not the things that he posts the thing that he writes are scientific studies. He's talking about stuff that has been poked at in labs and in scientific with scientific rigor, but it doesn't feel like it because time is so extremely ephemeral, and it's really hard to pin down. But he spends a long time going into all the ways that time is studied, all the ways that time is expressed and experienced. And it was really interesting, but also not very light. So I was really glad to finish it. There's so much in it, I can barely talk about it. I know I sound kind of like an idiot, but it was far more scientific than I normally read. But here's the other thing. Alan Burdick, the author, it's scientific, but also he talks a lot about his experience. He talks about why he's pursuing these inquiries. He's like, well, what about this? And it was really very beautifully curious, very welcomingly curious, and open, as science should be. It was beautifully scientific because the scientific method is develop a hypothesis and then test it with an experience and observe it. You're not supposed to pre-conclude what you're going to observe. You're supposed to observe it honestly. So his curiosity was honest and open, and it made me think about time in ways I never thought I would think about it. And it's a really good book, but it is not light reading. For people who really like scientific books, this is a great one. People who like nonfiction and want to hear the studies and want to hear the science experiments and the psychological, because it's experience, a lot of it is psychological. Very interesting, really good. So dense I can barely talk about it. But I loved it, and I will share it with you all. It's a great one, but it is, take your time. It's okay. It does not fly by. Take your time with it, enjoy it, and prepare to have your mind expanded. What do you think? Let's keep the conversation going.